Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to your match day reaction to Aberdeen 0 Rangers 2. Rangers do the double over the Dons. Happy days. Another 3 points in the bag. 5 wins in a row for Danny Rose men. And I guess some Wolf would say that we skushed that this evening.
Yeah, I missed all that because as soon as the game finished, I obviously headed for my car, which was parked in the street next to Pataudry, and I got home in a hurry to jump on the live reaction, which hadn't even started yet. So here we go. So I'm only here very briefly until my dinner appears because my missus has told me that she's ordered her takeaway, and I'm eating it as soon as it comes in apparently. So I'm only here briefly. But yeah, it was an absolute scoosh. I've just put on my social media. That's the easiest one I can ever remember at Pataudry because the conditions were absolutely horrific. It could have gone anyway. I mean, there was a comment in our group chat just before half time that I saw that it looks a bit windy in the away end. It's wet. It was windy. It's absolutely horrific. So I mean, anything can happen. That ball could have gone anywhere. But I thought, as good as we were, Aberdeen were stinking. They were really, really poor. They're a very, very bad side. The worrying part for me today was our midfield. I thought without Conor Barron, the midfield would probably go overrun and get kicked off the park. Wasn't the case. I thought the midfield was fantastic today. Again, I haven't seen any of it back. But to me, the midfield was absolutely fantastic today. I thought Asgard played really well, and I'm not his biggest fan. I thought Diamandi was really, really good. Raskin played well, but we expect that of Raskin anyway, you know. I know Mikey Moore was getting a wee bit of a hard time in our group chat, so Demi said, because she noticed a bit of that. I thought he did okay. Gassama tied himself up in knots a few times. Did better when he moved over to the left, I thought. Tavernier was decent. I actually don't think there was any failures in the Rangers team today, if I'm perfectly honest. I thought that the manager was never going to make a substitution, though. I was screaming for him to bring Majovsky on because they'd have loved. I mean, I'd have preferred him to bring Majovsky on when there was a full Pataudry, not bringing it on when they've all left. Because they've got this mentality of they don't like him because he signed for us or this nonsense. They're a banner out before the game. They were throwing things at him when he warmed up, all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, Raskin squishing a fan at the end. I don't know what the fan said to him, and he shouldn't have done it because you've got to rise above that. However, I believe a Rangers player was hit with a missile after we scored the first goal. I've seen a still of that. So, you know what I mean? Two rights don't make a wrong, but that's the sort of stuff that we face up here. I've just seen the manager's interview on Sky, and he said, "Look, you can feel the atmosphere as soon as we got here, you know, because they don't like us. It's one of these daft one-way rivalries." But yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm still quite wound up because I was literally home in 10 minutes after the game. So much so, Conor, my missus actually said, "Did you wait till full time?" Which I always do, and she knows that. But I actually got a flyer, and the police waved me right through, so I thought it was good, and I thought I would come on and help you guys out, and there was nobody here. But anyway, we're here now, so I'll let you say your piece.
Yes, absolutely. Always nice to have Wolf on a reaction, Alan, because of course normally Wolf at this point in time is somewhere trying to fight his way out of traffic in Govan. So, the closest game I believe that we'll play to Wolf, unless you're closer to Cove, but we'd only play them in the cup.
3 miles from my house. I'm probably equally distant between Cove and Pataudry. I was actually at Cove yesterday for the game with Inverness, which was terrible. That's 90 minutes of my life I won't get back. But no, I'm probably equally distant between the two, Conor.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, look, we'll go into some of the nuts and bolts and what Wolf was talking about there. I've actually got a clip on the Sky Sports Twitter feed of the Raskin incident at the end that I'll bring up just because I appreciate there might be some people who missed it, and it's only a 2-minute clip, so I will bring that up later on, and I will get the manager's thoughts and comments as well as and when they go up on the socials. You know what it's like. It takes forever for some reason for them to do it. But your overall view of the game today, Alan, pretty comfortable. It was 2-0. Could have potentially, when you look at one of the big decisions of the game, been more.
I think we were effective without being excellent. Like, we kind of reduced them to taking pot shots. There's a couple of times they managed to get through and goal and they didn't really know what to do with the ball. I mean, the conditions obviously didn't help, but I thought in the end it should have been 4 or 5. The first half, I think, with Mikey Moore, he wasn't as effective on the left as he is through the middle. He's definitely a number 10. in my opinion. He looked somebody out of position in the first half. Whereas the second half, you started seeing him coming back into the middle again off the left, and he looked a lot better. Second half, the same with Gassama as well. I think they were maybe just playing too wide in the first half. But that's testament to Danny Rule. He's obviously seen that without Barron, we can't play the ball the way we want through the middle, so he's putting him out wide. But it didn't quite work in the first half. I thought it worked a lot better in the second half, to be honest. But we were efficient without being excellent, I would say.
Connor, that one's spot on there, right? I thought it should have been 4 or 5, right? And Aberdeen, as I say, they didn't offer anything. I mean, I never thought about it till just getting into stoppage time. Demi turned me at the game and she went, "You know how easy this has been, right? Look at Jack Butland. The conditions are horrific. It's pouring with rain. The pitch is like a skating rink. And Jack Butland's wearing a white goalkeeper strip that's still white. That tells you how much they were in the game. Just look, our goalkeeper dressed in white, playing in a monsoon, walked off the park and he had a couple of marks on his socks. That was it. That tells you how little they were in the game. That's not Rangers Aberdeen at Pittodrie, really. Aberdeen are poor. We won that at a canter, an absolute canter.
Well, I mean, listen, it's a mark of clearly where they're at just now. It's also a mark of the confidence that we've got, because whilst we as fans might have had some nails about it, because historically not an easy place to go, that today is the first time we've won at Pittodrie since December 2022, when obviously Scotty Arfield, Mr. Saturday Night, managed to bag his 2 late goals, and what was wasn't great for man else, but one of my most fond and favourite victories at Pittodrie, just because they thought they had won the game and they were having a party in the stands until they got absolutely egg on their face. So that was lovely to see. But we know all that, and obviously they're in the situation, but there is a confidence about us. I feel like the Tynecastle result a few weeks ago could have seen us go either way. We could have ended up capitulating after that with the fact we had more tough games, or we could have responded the way we have, which is it's very much just been a blip in the radar that we moved on very quickly from and started getting wins. Winning ugly, no doubt, Wilf. We all know that at Parkhead last week, we could have been further behind in the first half. We weren't. We came back out in the second half and we took control of the game. I thought we were in control from start to finish today, personally. And I think it's a mark of, yes, how poor Aberdeen are, but the confidence Danny Rule seems to have brought into this group of players.
Yeah, I mean, he's made this very difficult to beat, right? I mean, I think there's a confidence in the team that we're not going to lose goals. And when you've got a confidence not to lose goals, then you're a bit more confident going forward. You can take a few more chances. For me, you can maybe play a pass that they don't know for a fact going to come off, but you know that there's something behind you is going to stop it's not an automatic chance for the opposition, because that's what was happening in the early part of the season. But to the comment I've just brought up here, it's a penalty and a set piece, you're right, but we also had a goal chalked off that was never a foul on a goalkeeper in a million years, in my opinion. I mean, Connor, you're part of the goalkeepers union, you can disagree with that if you like, but I mean, I've seen it back since I came in the house. I don't see, where's Fernandez's arm supposed to go? What's he supposed to do? You know what I mean? There wasn't a single person in that ground shouting for a free kick that I could see. Nobody on the pitch. Didn't see anybody in Aberdeen end screaming for it. Obviously, we were too busy celebrating it. I don't really remember Butland making too many saves. Their finishing is awful, but I think we had loads and loads of gears to go through. What you've got to remember today, those conditions were absolutely horrific. I mean, the wind 1 minute was holding the ball up, the next minute it wasn't holding the ball up. I mean, the disallowed goal, the ball hung in the air forever because of the wind. And then there's other times they're playing balls through and it's going far too long because the wind dropped and then the wind's up and it's holding it up. So, I mean, I'm here to be disagreed with. I thought we won it an absolute canter. Had Aberdeen scored, I think we'd have stepped up and probably scored again. We should have scored 4 or 5 with the chances that we had. But let's be honest, if anybody said you'll play Aberdeen twice in a week and you beat them 2-0 both times, you'd have taken that with open arms and said, thanks very much, let's move on to the cup game on Friday.
Indeed. Alan, Wilf mentions the disallowed goal there. I'll get your thoughts on that. But firstly, the goal we did score that was allowed in the first half from Tello Asgard, a really well worked set piece. And Scott Fry seems to be doing the business, because he's taken us from a side that, quite frankly, at the start of the season were hopeless for set pieces. We don't score set pieces goals. We struggle to defend them. He seems to have, through time, whatever he's done in the training ground, instilled a bit more confidence in us with the set pieces, and we're a bit better at dealing with them and obviously causing problems from them ourselves. And yeah, a great ball from Magoma right into the breadbasket, the edge of the 6-yard box. Asgard in all sorts of space. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat and say that, Aberdeen are shocking defensively from this corner. There's no getting away from that. But Asgard is there. Thank you very much. Side foot volley, 1-0, and a well-worked, well-taken goal.
Aye, and I think the fact that we've got so much that adds uncertainty to the opposition. So the fact that today there was Tav and Magoma at every corner straight away, the opposition is thinking, right, what are they going to do? Is that an in-swinger? Is that an out-swinger? Are they going to play it short? And then you've got Fernandez. Nobody knows, is he going to be the target man? So they're all kind of looking at him, focused on him. And that allows the likes of Asgard to just sneak out a wee bit and take that finish. And he took it really well, just side-footed it into the net. And this is the thing with Asgard, you see these games and you think, this is a player we've got here. And then the next game we'll maybe not do as well. So hopefully he takes this kind of opportunity now that Barron's out with both hands and keeps the momentum going, hopefully. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all, and you mentioned it earlier in your opening, we all had concerns about the midfield, about, was it going to be Asgard coming in for Barron, which I think most of us kind of knew it almost certainly would be Asgard getting the start. But to be fair to Tello Asgard, and you won't hear me say this very much, Connor Barron wouldn't have scored that goal because Connor Barron wouldn't have been in that area, whereas Tello Asgard is. And that's not a knock on Connor Barron, it's just that they're different styles of players. Asgard is a bit more attack-minded when it comes to his finishing than Barron, and I just think he's in a brilliant area. Yes, Aberdeen have absolutely sold the jerseys by leaving him that amount of space. I mean, give me that much space, Wilf, and I'm scoring, but it's a brilliant ball for Magoma in that point of view as well.
Yeah, I mean, give me that much space, I'm probably missing, but there you go. But no, I mean, if Connor Barron is on the pitch, we're taking that corner completely differently because you're right, he's not in that position. He's probably hanging about the edge of the box, which he tends to do to recycle the ball, and it winds me up because the ball drops. I mean, he's never going to score, and that's the sort of position you're looking for the guy to take a pot shot. But the fact that Tello Asgard's in the team, that's why we played. I think we played that corner the way we did. I mean, you're right. Since Scott Fry came in, we've looked dangerous at set plays. We've varied the set pieces a little bit. I mean, there was folk around me today saying we better not be taking this corner short, and then we take corner short and get chances off it. Not that one. There was one in the second half. But yeah, they seem to know what they're doing. I mean, there was a comment that I think it was Raskin made. I think it was after the game on Tuesday against Aberdeen when he said, "Look, Tav told me where to go. He said they've dropped off, go into the whatever it was, the pocket he said to go into." So, they're thinking more about set pieces. They're talking to each other about where they're going to go. They probably said to Asgard, "Look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to drop this to you on the 6-yard line and just get something on it and it's probably going to go in." And that's exactly what he did. I thought it was a terrific goal. I was, as I said, at the start, really, really worried about him coming into the team. I thought he had a great game. The goal did him the world of good. He should probably have scored, you can argue, another one in the second half. But the fact that we're scoring off set pieces, I'd love us to score off a open play. I said that during the game. It'd be great to score, from open play. But quite frankly, Connor, I don't care how we score as long as we score.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. There's no question about that, Alan, as long as you score. Now, of course, Alan, when you do score goals that are perfectly legitimate, it is important, especially because, again, this came for another set piece. It was a free kick this time. And I must, as I say, these set pieces, genuinely, Scott Fry's a miracle worker. I'll tell you that right now. I think I like my set pieces the way I like my breakfasts on a Sunday morning fried. But for me, this is another one where, and there was argument about it in Sky Sports, and I didn't see it at half time because I was on with Ash and we were having a conversation for the members on the match day coverage. But it feels like we're in bizarro land because at half time Chris Sutton's telling you this goal should stand, whereas Chris Boyd has decided to delve his way into the the rule book and say, well, do I think it's a goal? Yes, but by the letter of the law. Now, this is one of those situations where, firstly, it's a shocking decision by VAR. How is it a clear and obvious error? Mitov, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but Chris Sutton said it best. All we've done there is reward woeful goalkeeping for Dimitar Mitov. He comes out, stops, then jumps at the same time as Fernandez, completely makes a meal of it. Fernandez, you have to jump where you're at. Are we supposed to expect players to jump like that, like penguins? Because I don't understand the rule there. It is absolutely, for me, a goal that should stand. And most people with two eyes in their head, apart from Chris Boyd, because he's got to say the polar opposite to Chris Sutton, even if Sutton's agreeing that Sutton was against Rangers, it's a goal all day long.
It is, and this is where I think Fernandez, as much as we love how tall he is, this is where his height kind of works against him, because that length he's got in his arms, that is his natural position. If I'm 2 foot taller than you, my natural position for my elbow is probably in your face. Do you know what I mean? And that's something we've seen with Asgard in the second half when he got booked. All he did was jump, but because he's taller than the other guy, he got booked. It's just a ridiculous decision. And the fact, too, was it John Beaton that was on the VAR, I think? So the fact he's pulled that back, and then your man, bargain hunt, was David Dickinson, has then went to the screen and agreed with the VAR. I don't understand how they've got to that decision. Chris Boyd's argument was that he's stopped him from saving the ball, but he was never getting the ball. There's no way he was getting the ball. The keeper's jumped into him, if anything. So it's just a totally bizarre decision. And I'm just glad it wasn't like pivotal. We're not sitting like the Aberdeen didn't score after that, and we're not talking about we dropped points because of VAR, because that would have been worse. But at the end of the day, it's still another shocking decision by inept officials.
There's no other way around it. It is, and a lot of people in our comments not happy about it. A couple of people saying they think it was a right decision as well, which is fine. That's I said this at half-time in the members' match day watch on, which incidentally, if you're not a member already and you want to be involved in the full match day experience here, then you absolutely can be. You can sign up and join as a member for as little as $1.99 per month. There are various tiers. You get loads of extra content, including the aforementioned match day coverage. You also get wrestling shows if you're into that sort of a thing, amongst loads and loads of other stuff. Thompson's Tuesdays. I don't know if you'd want to watch that show, but it's available. The Rabble Report. You get loads and loads of good extra content. You get Morning Rabbles as well every day, which you can phone in and have a chat with Martin about all things Rangers and the goings on. So it's all well worth it if you can afford it and you choose to. If not, that's fine. There are other ways to support us. Leave us a like and a subscribe as well. It all helps the cause. Alan, we're going to go into half-time, maybe feeling a bit hard done by because of the decision to disallow the goal, which a lot of people, as I say, weren't happy with. Perry was saying our finishing could have been better. I think for open play, he's got a point. Ian, well, against Landis' goal was ridiculous. It's like running into a parked car and blaming the car. I don't know if you see personal experience there, Alan. I really don't know. But as I say, anyway, we go in at half-time, feeling a bit aggrieved, a bit hard done by. We come out in the second half. We are going towards the end where the wind and the weather is the worst. It was as blustery as anything down there, particularly for corner kicks. Trying to get the ball to stay still was a real effort, which is why it took quite a while to get some corners taken. But I thought overall we performed quite well in the second half. I thought we dealt with anything that Aberdeen threw at us because they did have a few corner kicks, a few crosses. Their defence held up well. And we had a few chances in there as well that on another day we maybe take big use of Chermiti. I'm not going to be overly critical. I'm not going to be overly critical because I think he's tried to get out of his feet quite quickly, and because it's all on the ground, Mitov actually does quite well to make himself big. He should do better with it, but I don't think it's one of the worst I've seen.
No, I thought the Raskin one was more a sitter in the second half, but then again, you could argue that one might have been offside anyway. but he still missed a sitter, in my opinion. And the second half, I was really worried about getting into that corner because it was so windy. And Wolf, obviously, he was at the game and he confirmed it was as wild as it looked on the telly. And you could see the ball just moving itself at the corner flag, and it just looked an absolute nightmare. But the second half, I mean, this is another example of the kind of confidence and calmness that Danny Rule has brought into this team. There's not one player or not one time, not one moment in that second half where I was nervous, where I thought we were under the cosh, where I thought Aberdeen were coming out and starting to play their game. It was all as we were totally, I wouldn't say quite dominant, but I thought we were disciplined, really disciplined in what we were doing, even though it wasn't pretty. One bit, not one bit was pretty, but I still thought we were efficient and industrious in what we've done. As I say, Mikey Moore and Gassama came into the game a bit more in the second half. I was pleased to see that as well. It'll be interesting to see, actually. Obviously, he put Asgard in the attacking mid, which forced Mikey Moore out on the left. But I wonder, what do you think on this corner? I'll put it to you. See if we sign that Romans, the left back, would that push Magoma onto the left line, do you think? And Mikey Moore back in the middle?
It certainly could. I think if Daniel wants to have both of them in the squad or in the start lineup at the same time, then he may well have to look at that option. Magoma's certainly shown he can do that. I do think that there are moments when Magoma, I mean, Aberdeen didn't offer an awful lot, but there was a moment in particular actually where they did play a couple of nice passes. They got down on Magoma's side. And ultimately, Fernandez blocks the cross, but you can see him just having a wee pop at Magoma because he kind of goes in, leaves his side exposed, and then he's a bit slow in getting back, which allows the opportunity for the ball to come in. So Romans might be better suited to that more defensive side and let Magoma focus more and trying to get forward and help out there. I think he'll look at all options. I don't think anything's off the table. I really don't. Right. Let's have a chat before we discuss the penalty kick, Alan, and the other things on the park. And I'm going to get to see the manager's views once I see them coming up on the Rangers Twitter feed, which can take a while. But there were some issues off field today, which are never nice to have to talk about. What we're not going to do, Alan, is do a Sky Sports and be selective of our coverage on this particular subject, because this wasn't a one-way street. And firstly, in the first half, the behaviour of some of the Aberdeen fans was a disgrace. They were throwing things onto the pitch. After we scored the first goal, Fernandez actually gets hit by an object that comes out of the crowd. Now, I don't know what that object was. It was probably a cup. No, I don't think it matters, Alan, what the object is. I really don't, because you shouldn't be throwing anything onto the park. Paul saying it might be a coin. I'm not entirely sure. As I say, I'm not sure. You could be right, Paul. Either way, whatever it was, anybody throwing anything onto a football pitch, Alan, should be identified and should be given a ban immediately from all stadiums in Scottish football. It's unacceptable to behave that way. And listen, we're going to talk obviously about the rest after it. Okay, Finn Fogel, it was a coin. That's fine. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter what he got hit with. Something hit him. No. If it was a coin, that's fine. You're saying it's a coin, I'll take your word for it. I didn't see whether it was a coin or not because the camera angles that Sky Sports showed us were not brilliant. So all I'm saying, I didn't know. I don't know why people are getting worked up about me saying about what the object was. At the end of the day, he was hit by a coin, it would appear. Disgraceful.
Aye, absolutely. And how many times have we seen Old Firm games at Ibrox and we've get beat off them, and the paper the next day is like a half bottle of wine chucked onto the pitch, and it's just, you just despair. You sink into your seat and you're like, what is going on, man? Because it's just not acceptable at all. And the picture that it paints to the club as a whole, it tarnishes the reputation of the club. Never mind that one person. It's the whole club that gets affected, the players, everything. So there's absolutely no place for it, no matter what it is. And I don't know, like I say, I never seen what it was either. Connor never showed you. Nobody said what it was, but that's by the by. Somebody get
No,
hurt
and
in
by the way,
the
can I just say,
screen,
Finn's right there. He is right with the. It's a coin that can do damage. I mean, anything thrown at you for that kind of
seen through
range,
Dallas, didn't we?
you don't
Remember through
know.
Dallas?
Aye, of course it can. It's so poor. And understand where you're coming from, Finn. And again, you know, where is the comment? I was trying to find it to throw it back at you. I can't find the thing because it's honestly, you could cut diamonds the speed that these comments are coming in at this evening. There it is it. Jonah saying she agrees, but nothing will happen. I mean, it should.
Aye, it should.
Because that was just the beginning of some of the crowd troubles that took place. And that for me was probably the worst incident of it.
Aye, definitely. And they should be able to identify who it was. They've got cameras that are, you know, they've got high resolution and stuff in stadiums these days. So they should be able to identify who it was and hopefully ban them. But we'll wait and see. I'm just glad that it never. I mean, you get hit in the head, right? That's bad enough. But I'm glad it wasn't like a bottle. We never, you know, it never broke skin or anything like that. Because it could have been worse. Let's face it. As bad as it was, it could have been worse. So I'm just glad it wasn't.
It absolutely could have. Right, I'm going to bring up this clip from Sky Sports so we can discuss the other incident that took place at the end of the game. I appreciate it feels a bit disjointed, but if we're going to talk about the off-field incidents, we're as well just getting them all blitzed and done so we can get back to focusing on the football. But I'm going to show this clip for the avoidance of any doubt for people who haven't seen it. It's only a 2-minute clip. Pretty sure we'll be fine. Martin might kill me if there's a copyright strike. There shouldn't be because it's a literal 2-minute clip and it won't be full screened just for the purpose of making sure. But this is what Sky Sports were discussing just after the game with the Nico Raskin incident.
Just have to highlight a slight altercation between Nico Raskin and supporter as they were walking off the field of play, and there was, and we know what the we know the bad blood there is between the two sets of fans when it comes to this fixture. We saw Miovski had to stop his warm-up as well. Earlier on, there were a few things that were thrown onto the pitch towards Mitov and towards Fernandez. But as a player, do you have to almost, as much as it's not right to get that from supporters, do you need to kind of keep yourself away from it?
Yeah, I think you need to rise above it. I mean, I think you're always going to get criticised, especially for a Rangers player coming up here. I don't think there's any need for Nico Raskin to go back and do what he done there. He'll probably been there regretting it now, but at the same time, you know, for me, if you're a football player, you're going to get away fans taunting you. You just need to go on. You've won the game. You've got 3 points. Difficult venue. Get back down the road.
He's such a talented player. He's an important player. He can't be doing that. Cherney did it, didn't he, the other year at Celtic?
Yeah,
I don't think that there was any punishment for that. But
yeah, we'll part the clip there. We don't really need to hear much more. We kind of know the way it's going down. I appreciate that, Gavin. I've showed the clip now. It's fine. I mean, we've showed a minute of it. I would be absolutely bewildered if there was any issue there. I don't think there will be. It's fair use. Yeah, Alan, look, a lot of people are saying, listen, this is a much ado about nothing. Why are we talking about this? You know, it shouldn't really matter. And I get that sentiment. I really do get that sentiment. I get where people come from when you look at the abuse that they've taken the whole game. Not just verbal abuse, but Nico Raskin isn't stupid, Alan. He'll be aware that Fernandez was also assaulted by something for the crowd as well earlier on. That will have, I've no doubt, will have made, you know, been in his thoughts when he's also taken verbals coming off the park. He's had bad blood in the past with Aberdeen because of, you know, they've had pops at him before. Do I think it's a wise choice from Raskin? Probably not, in terms of he should probably just get himself down the tunnel, because he's opened himself up to the SFA now, and he's at their mercy if they decide to punish him. Now, with Vaclav Černý at Parkhead the last time, there wasn't really any punishment. There was a conversation, but it wasn't, you know, thankfully the common sense prevailed. Whether it will this time, I don't know, but certainly in the media landscape, he's going to get hammered, and I don't know if it's fair. It's a bit silly, but I mean, it's no as if the guy could have got any wetter than he already was, Alan. Let's be honest about it.
I know. I think what makes it worse is the fact he's went up the tunnel and he's come back out and done it. whereas Czerny kind of just see at the end of the day, right? See when it happened, I thought it was funny, right? I did, but see if that was an Aberdeen player and it was one of our fans, I'd be raging. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably why we're talking about it, because it is a topic that's going to be in the news or on social media. I mean, it already is, obviously, but I think you need to remember Raskin's a young boy. He's obviously come off that pitch on a high. He's not made the right decision in my eyes, but I'm just hoping that nothing will come of it. I don't really know. When they had the discussion with Czerny last year, did they discuss what kind of rule or what kind of law he might have broken?
Well,
I don't think there is one in
so the
place.
thing is, after the Czerny incident last season, what ultimately happened was, and it sounds mental, right? And I remember being on an afternoon rabble with Martin a few days after it. There was an actual police investigation. They looked into what happened because they were checking. To be fair, I think they were checking more to make sure that nothing more untoward had happened in the crowd, and to make sure basically that they were clear of the facts of what happened at the incident. Ultimately, it was dismissed. There was no action taken. That was pretty much it. Czerny, again, much like Raskin, he was a bit over exuberant in his goal celebration. It was a bit, again, silly, but he did what he did, and eventually it got there. And then, of course, with this one, I imagine a similar. I don't think there'll be much to do with it.
No.
I think they'll get conversation. I'm sure. But all I ever say in these situations is, don't give the SFA a reason to have a word with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, just make sure that you're clever enough to not do that. But listen,
the hate is enough as it is. Never mind giving them ammunition.
Yeah, I hope it all gets just dealt with, and that's it. I hope there's no suspensions, because I don't want us missing Nico Raskin, and hopefully everything will be fine with it. Let's get back to the football, shall we? Now that we've spoke about the off-field antics, because I think we've had quite enough of that, and it's just always the way in these kind of games. I'm going to now bring up the manager's comments. They have now been uploaded by Sky Sports. So let's hear what Danny Rule made of this afternoon's win.
Today's win. 3 points, clean sheet, job done.
Simple as that today.
Exactly. Not simple to come here after 3 years where we couldn't win here. It's fantastic. I think we played in some parts really men's football, what we have to do, and then we showed also our quality on the ball. Good structure against the ball, a lot of ball winning situations. Some moments we could be a little bit more clinical. Then I felt second half we had good chances to make the 2-3-0. We didn't score, and then you never know in football. You have to be consequent, and then at the end, 2-0. I think all in all, I'm very proud of the group at the moment. I think now 5 wins in a row. It's outstanding.
Even at 1-0, do you feel your game management was very competent anyway? So you seem to be controlling the game.
Yeah, I think this is crucial. I think we spoke before the game. We have to do what we have to do. And my players did fantastic today. Find the balance between, go sometimes in behind, but then when they start to drop, find the right spaces. And it was great. And it was also hard work for my offensive guys. Yeah, I think that was a big part today. I said this: we need today offensive player. They are really ready to work against the ball, and they did well. And then finally, you deserve to win.
I know it's not the only part of the performance in the win today, but again, did you show how important set pieces were?
Yeah, crucial. It always could be an opener. I think we had done still good moments in possession, in transition moments. I think this is a little bit what we are at the moment. We have different ways to score, but the basic is the clean sheet mentality, and we have this. I said in the halftime, then defend until the end. And if you do this and you do the basics right, then you deserve to win, even as a tough place to go.
Yeah, and obviously Fernandes scored the goal disallowed in terms of VAR. Have you watched it again, and do you feel that was the right or wrong decision?
Yeah, I think the arm's a little bit high up on the goalkeeper. Then you can take this. I think if the ref decides this, then for me it's fine. But again, we create a good opportunity to score.
He seemed to get hit by something when Rangers scored the first goal, and I know at the end of the game when Nico Raskin's walking off, it seemed to be a water bottle that was scooshed. Is that unnecessary on both counts?
Well, I think We want to play football on the pitch. I think around we want to have a friendly atmosphere, but you feel it today. This place here as well is tough to go. I think even when I arrived, I felt straight where we are, but we showed the right answer on the pitch, and this is what we want.
It's now 5 wins in a row. Just how much do you feel a momentum that has been built?
Yeah, I think it's remarkable at the moment. Not just that we win games, a lot of clean sheets. We showed more and more where we want to go, but a lot of do again and again. Now we have a little bit the break with the cup game. We have to take it very serious, come in the next round, and then the next period comes with a lot of big games.
You were last to play in terms of the 3 teams at the top. Celtic won, then Hearts won today. Are your team now relishing that when the other 2 teams win, you have to go and win? It's just that mentality now that's building.
I'm honest, I didn't look today too much to the other results. For me, was focused that we make our job. If we do our job until the end, like we did at the moment, then it's hard to stop us.
We said to you we asked at the beginning of the game, of course, you've already made a signing now today. What more do you need in January to help you in terms of this title battle?
Yeah, we have to strengthen our squad. I think that we have the competition on different positions, but you see as well, we have at the moment a group together. They are strong, they believe, there's a relationship, there's a connection, and this is also what we have to keep. We have a lot of improvements. I think today Telu scored again. Important goals. This is fantastic to see. We want to improve in every areas, and if we do this and we make our job, then we are in a good way, and this is what we want to do. We are very clear, the board, Andrew, myself, the group, we go in one direction, and this is fantastic to see.
Well done today.
Thank you so much.
Does it just get the screen all sorted and back to where we need to be? There we are. That was the thoughts, of course, of the manager, Danny Rule. Just before I come to you, Alan, a few things to mop up here in the Star Chats. We have a couple of new members. Poppy Mac 247 became a huge member. Thank you very much indeed, Poppy. We greatly appreciate the support as always. Scott Ritchie has also become a member. Again, appreciate the support. It really is, the lifeblood in the Rabble, quite frankly. So thanks very much for that. Mark Burt with a $4.99 super chat hasn't said anything, but we appreciate the $4.99 nonetheless. Thank you very much indeed for that, Mark. And then Macaran 2003 $4.99 super chat. Spent $4.99, Alan, to have a dig at your curtains. Alan, these mate.
They are poor, to be fair. I need new ones, actually. They've just got wee stars on them. A bit rubbish.
Blinds, mate. Blinds are the way to go. No need for curtains. Well, there we go. And we've got a few others coming in here. Mark Boyle's been a member for 35 months. If we had our own fire striker, we would have won 4 or 5 now. Let's have a chat about that then, shall we? We mentioned Chermiti earlier, missed a chance. I think Chermiti has been on pretty good form of late. Today wasn't one of his best games. He wasn't brilliant, but I don't think he was particularly bad. He didn't have an awful lot actually in terms of opportunities falling his way. But for me, I take Mark's point there. It is something we need to work on, is scoring more goals, because goal difference is important this season, Mark. Alan, with how difficult and how tight the league is, and obviously Celtic yesterday going at 4 past Dundee United. That's the kind of thing we should be doing when we get the chance. Go for the juggler, go and get 3 or 4 goals, and that's maybe just a wee part that's still to come yet.
Aye, definitely, and I think you can see the work rate he does off the ball though. So to me, he's a lot more than just a striker. He's someone that allows the wingers to get up the field, allows the midfielders to get further further up the park, I should say. So he's a lot more than just a striker for me. And I've been really impressed in the past 5 games, especially, I think, to be honest. And it seems to be that I don't think Danny's really playing as that a style that's kind of conventional in the attacking sense. We seem to be either... It seems like we're taking shots for the distance and just hoping to go for a corner sometimes, because we know we're good for corners. I think that's one way that he's implementing change, but also think that what was I going to say there? I can't mind. Aye, Chermiti.
Well, I don't know. So if you don't know, we're in big trouble there.
Aye. No, he holds up the ball a lot better. A lot better than Danilo, especially. Danilo's built at the side of a fiver. Let's be honest. He's not got that in him. And Majovski's just, for whatever reason, he doesn't seem match fit. But Chermiti's been really impressive. If Chermiti got injured tomorrow, we would miss him massively. He would be a huge miss to us if he got injured. He's that good now.
Well, he's certainly doing more than the other two are. And I still think we need another striker. I'd like to brought a third one in this window. I don't see that that's likely to happen now, because I think Daniel probably thinks Chermiti if he can improve the other areas, that Chermiti will be a big factor for him going forward. And I'll just say JD is
Kieran Bowie, wasn't there?
No, yeah, Kieran Bowie is the one that's been linked. Whether that happens in January or the summer, I mean, if you want him in January, it's probably going to cost us more. Probably going to have to pay more to bring him in now than we are in the summer potentially. But I mean, he is one that I would bring in. I said this recently in I think it was on Friday night show. For me, I think it would be a reasonable signing for us to broach. JD pointed out it's got Ridgeham, the Mac, by the way, are CEOs, so they go. Didn't know that. See, it doesn't tell me that. It just says new member. What you see on the screen, effectively. So, but nonetheless, we move on.
What do you make of Danny Rill's comments?
Well, it's just what I was going to ask you.
All right. Sorry.
Thanks for trying to take care of my joke for me there, Alan. That's good.
That's all right. That's right. I'll go on the left.
Yeah, I'll just say, I mean, I don't. I think I've seen a comment coming in there for Ian Barron, who's obviously not very well. Certainly at the moment, we wish you all the very best, Ian. Of course, everyone here at the Rabble. We'll certainly wish you absolutely all the best there. It's a tough thing, the old long COVID. In terms of the manager's comments, Alan, you brought it up. What do you make of them? I mean, Shona said, and I seen it just as it was coming up, as Danny Rowe was speaking, and I seen Shona and one or two others saying, "Oh, call it out, Danny," because he was talking about the atmosphere and coming to Aberdeen and where it was going to be, and mentioning that just want to be here and play football.
Aye, that's what I love about him. He doesn't get dragged into any drama as much as the reporters try and drag some kind of a response out of him that's going to cost value. He just doesn't get sucked in by it. He's actually quite intelligent in the way he speaks. He's not even got a bad word to say about anybody. Another manager could quite easily come out and slate the referee or VAR for the disallowed goal, but he's just said, look, if the referee said that, then fine, whatever. Even though in his head he might be thinking other things. So he's highly intelligent in my opinion. And he did mention something that I picked up on recently is like the togetherness in the team, and I think you could see that. You can see it throughout the game, but I think when Tav scored that penalty, you could see it. They weren't just celebrating with Tav; they were celebrating with each other, jumping on top of each other, and that's really shone through for me. That's one of the best things, or the most improved areas that I can see. That and discipline as well. That unity and discipline and just doing the basics. I mean, we never had any of that under Russell Martin, not one. And that's like the fundamental. Yeah, it's the fundamentals of a good team, essentially. Doing the basics right, having unity there, and fighting for each other's backs. We never had any of that under Russell Martin. So we've came on leaps and bounds, in my opinion. But it doesn't get dragged into any drama whatsoever. And he knows how to get the job done, as he said. 3 points, job done.
Yeah, 3 points up the road. That's all it's about. I've got a few more highlighted comments here to bring up. Blue Tie has been a member for 7 months. He just obviously loves Danny Rule. I'm not going to sing it, just to be clear.
Oh, no.
It's absolutely not happening. I don't need that. My singing voice being on the internet for the rest of my days. That's all I need. And with Gavin in the comment, God only knows what he would do with that. Yes, but I agree, Blue Tie, very much so. And inside, I'm singing. Chunky 72 has gifted one Rangers Rabble podcast membership. Much obliged, Chunky. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciated, mate. Always appreciate the support. And our very own Ian Thompson has highlighted the comment. Member for 18 months is your Ian. Geez, has it been that long already? Feels longer. He says that was a big result for us today. Beating VAR at Pittodrie puts us in the mix. Well, speaking of officials and refereeing decisions, Mark, that marked the occasion today, a penalty kick at the end. I say at the end, but about 12 minutes left to go. I thought the chance was gone, quite frankly, Alan, because we broke away for a corner quite well. The opening seemed there. It just seemed like Mikey Moore just had to prod it through, and Chermiti would have had a choice. It'd have been a 2-on-1 with him and Gassama, with their shot, with their played it.
Aye.
It was awkward the way it kind of came down to me, and it sort of spun up. It almost planted itself in the ground, like it just stopped dead on the surface, which tells you the conditions. Chermiti, though, I felt held it up quite well to find the pass, and then eventually it goes to Gassama. Quick feet for Gassama. Well, he's got quick feet, and he gets in that byline. He does really well, by the way, to get past his man and in the byline. And his feet are maybe just a bit too quick for Graham Shinnie, who sticks a leg out. Gassama is caught, goes over that leg. Penalty given. Some people saying that they felt it was soft penalty kick, which is, I would probably agree that it is soft. But Graham Shinnie didn't seem to really have any complaints.
No, I think the way Gassama went down probably adds to that kind of soft opinion. In my opinion, it's still a penalty because he's held him back for where he's going to be. The way he's went down, it's dramatic. It looks daft. I get that. But if he doesn't go down, we don't get the penalty. And that's another thing that we've got a lot better at as time has went on, kind of buying a foul as such. Whereas before, we would be too honest. When we're in a good position and we get a challenge, we would kind of try and stay on our feet, and it wouldn't work out for us. But now, if we're in a good position and we feel contact, we're just going down like that. That one with Tav, when he crossed into Raskin, that was for, I think it was at Asgard that went down. I can't remember. But that was a classic case of us buying a foul, whereas before we would have stayed on our feet. And that's something that Danny Rose brought in as well.
Well, yeah, look, I agree. And I understand that I've seen some people say, they're not wrong. I mean, listen, I agree with Bojangles. There is contact that's been made. For me, it's a penalty. The fact is, Graham Shinnie didn't complain about it. And to quote Chris Boyd a few years ago, a hard-boiled egg, a soft-boiled egg, still a boiled egg. And at the end of the day, it's probably one of the few things he's ever said and he's right about. It doesn't matter if you think it's a stone ball penalty or a soft penalty, it's still a penalty. And I think it is. I think he's left the foot out. Gassama's been too quick for him, and he's gone over the foot, made contact. It's going to be given. And you're right about the street smarts. I spoke about this after the Cup semi-final that we'd lost, and James Tavernier had referenced it in his post-match comments about how in that game Gassama got himself into a position where he was sort of through and had a bit of a tangle with Trusty, but he stayed on his feet. And Tav was saying in his comments after the game about being that bit more street smart and saying, well, look, he's already in a booking, so if Gassama goes down there, he's off. Arguably he'd be off anyway, but especially with a booking. So it's one of those ones where you're not advocating people diving or throwing themselves about, but it's just about being a bit street smart and understanding that teams aren't going to be shy of doing that to you. So we've done the same to them. But I mean, it is a penalty.
Aye. You've seen the best teams in Europe will do it. You know what I mean? So if you can't beat them, join them.
Well, there is that, yes. Short and sweet there. Try to keep up here. So that's been done. Ross Bright also gifted one Rangers Rabble podcast membership. Ross, thank you very much indeed, much appreciated. Always appreciate the support, as we say. Paul Robertson with a £2 super chat. Thanks very much, Paul. Much appreciated. Lads, 2-0 again, 3 points, clean sheet again. Well, that's the other side of this we need to have a chat about, Alan, because the clean sheet is so important. And I'm going to touch on, obviously, Asgard, because that's been asked of me as well. But clean sheet, another one, remarkably, and I didn't realise this until late, but we actually had the best, after the Motherwell game, the best defensive record. We only conceded like 15 goals at the time. I must say, looking at us defensively, the Suter Fernandez unit just looks a bit more rock steady than when Giga was in. Like, there's less bomb scares. That's not to say there are none, because we know that Fernandez has, on occasion, bomb scared us a few, once or twice. Makoma, I spoke about that incident earlier where he maybe has to do better. But in general terms, has Danny Rule found a centre-back partnership there in Fernandez and Suter?
In my opinion, yes. And I think part of the clean sheet record is down to Scott Fry's defensive set pieces as well. Let's not forget that, because we seem to be a lot better. I know Mikael Mandron scored a corner when we played St Mirren, but generally, in the whole, we've been a lot better at defending set pieces. Fernandez, I think there was one point, I think it was in the first 5 or 10 minutes, he kind of ran out the defence and kind of went on a wee wonder, and then he lost the ball, and he tried to get it back, and it looked, I thought at the time it was a bad challenge, and I was really worried, but it seemed to be not mentioned again, which is good. But he does have that kind of lapse in concentration sometimes, which is concerning, but I still think he's got that ability. Let's not forget, he's only played, before he came, I think he's only played like 100 odd games total in professional football, which for a defensive brain is nothing really. When you think about how many defenders play into their mid-30s, late 30s, and he's 24, 23, so he's still quite young in terms of experience, especially at an elite level. He's came from Peterborough up to us, which is a massive jump. So I think he's definitely found a partnership, and I'm slightly worried now that Giga's back for AFCON. Is he going to try and start Giga again? Because I don't see how he improves that defence at all, in my opinion. So I hope not, to be honest. But I think with Suter and Fernandez, he's got kind of the best. It's a good partnership because Suter's got a lot more experience, and Fernandez obviously got that height as well, which is massive. Pardon the pun.
I don't know. I'm not 100%. I think we might now. I know. Hold on. I'll just bring up the old stats. Have a look at the table. So we've conceded the least amount of goals. We've conceded 17 jointly, though, now with Motherwell and Hearts, who've also only conceded 17. We have, however, scored 34. I think we're pretty much level pegging with Hearts and Motherwell. Whether that translates into more clean sheets, because it might be that they conceded more in a particular game. But yeah, either way, unbelievably,
we seem to be top, don't we? I was going to say, we seem to be top on quite a few stat tables now. Like most points since October and stuff like that, we seem to be top.
Yeah, we've seen it at the end of the game. We showed a graphic that was remarkable to me, that since Danny Rule came in the door, we were actually 6 points clear of everybody else since the start of his tenure, which is what a remarkable turnaround in form that truly is. I think
after that game, it was 9, actually. It's 9 now, I'm sure.
Shona saying Tav, best rated player today, thought he played well. And a great penalty. It was a very good penalty, Mark, because it was right into the corner. I mean, the keeper goes the right way, but it's the kind of penalty kick. No goalkeeper, put 2 goalkeepers in, they're not saving that because it's so far. It's what they always say, see, when you're at schoolboy level, they say, if you take a penalty low, hard and into the corner, that's the most difficult place for a keeper. And Tav stepped up, put it away with aplomb. I thought all round Tav had a pretty decent game. Apart from his free kick, which we'll not talk about.
It has, to be fair, and that's something I've seen. He seems to have had a shift in mindset recently as well. When you think back to even the goal at Ibrox, Raskin's goal against Aberdeen, when he's identified something and he passed that on to Barron. Tav could easily, and Tav of the past probably would have took that himself to get the assist, whereas he's passed that on to Barron and said, look, you go with it, you do it, and then Raskins gave Tav the credit. So that speaks volumes to me. He seems to be have a better collective mindset than what he used to have. He used to see him like screaming and shouting at players and stuff, and some of them wouldn't like it, let's be honest. But now they all seem to be on the Danny Rule train, as we all are. But I think he had a good game. I mean, the free kick, that Raskin sitter that he missed, he done well to even get in that position with that wind in that corner. So I thought he done well, and he nearly scored in the second half, didn't he? So,
370th game for Tav today as well. There you go.
There you go.
Things you didn't know.
That's mad.
Will he make it to 400? Does he get another 30 in him? Possibly.
Surely.
Well, between now and the end of the season, if we go into the deep end of the competitions, then there's surely at least 20 odd games there that you'll have to play. So you never know.
He'll come on as a sub in loads of games, whether it's this season or next season. I think you'll keep him on for an experience viewpoint at least.
You get his testimonial as well, I think, by next season. So I mean, and he deserves it. He deserves, Ian saying, will he see 400 or should he see 400? That, Ian Thompson, is a conversation for another podcast that doesn't have just 4 minutes left of airtime. That may be discussed tomorrow on the show. Martin might bring that up in the morning rabble at 10 a.m, which if you're a member, you can join Martin for. You can phone in, give your thoughts and feelings and opinions and everything that you've seen today on the field and the results. And of course, tomorrow evening, you are spoiled because you've got your live at 5 o'clock tomorrow. You've got your Monday night rabble at 7:30. And then at 9 o'clock, for you wrestling fans, again, if you are a member and you're a wrestling fan, you can join myself, Hamish, Alex for the Rabble Wrestling Show. And we'll obviously be talking all the things wrestling as well. So plenty to look forward to. And that's just tomorrow, not mentioning the rest of the week where we've got things. Sure, new signings will come in. Chouameni was signed today, of course. Lumens could be the next one in the door. Bowie potentially. Things potting up. There is also, as Paul McGorrickle correctly pulls me up on and points out, this is what happens when Wilf disappears and I forget things, you see. There's also the women's show on today, fresh off the back of their win over Kilmarnock in the Women's Scottish Cup. The guys will be here to talk about that. First game back after the women's winter break as well. That show will be on for you tomorrow as well at always get this wrong with the women's show. Help me out here, Ian T. Is it 6:30? I think the women's show goes live at. I'm pretty sure
it's usually just before the Monday night one, isn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah, 6:30. Sniper to the rescue. Yeah. Good man, Sniper. 6:30. I always know it's either 6 or 6:30, but I seem to get it wrong whichever way I say it. So 6:30. Tomorrow night, that'll be on as well. So you've got a packed schedule tomorrow. So happy days there. Just give me peace. All right, it's been a long afternoon. I don't know how you say his name. How do you say his name, Alan?
Alan just calls him Chucky. It's Chuck Wayne, isn't it? Chuck Wayne.
Chuck Wayne, aye. I think I might have booked the pronunciation, Chuck Wayne or whatever. But nonetheless,
I wish.
Oh, there you go. But aye, as I say, plenty of that for you to get your teeth sunk into. And just so I don't forget, that's not the one. Where is it? There it's there. Kieran. Setting the record with another 499 double chat. Setting the record today. This is Kieran from the pod. YouTube's changed my name. It's done that to everybody for some reason. Mine's is the same. Daft is what that is. Ross Bright, who gifted a membership earlier, is also himself become a member. Thanks very much, Ross. I don't know if he's become a member or he's upgraded his membership. That feels like an upgrade because he's gifted one, hasn't he? So, but anyway, either way, we appreciate it, my friend. and just making sure I've mopped everything up. I have done. That's fine. We're all good to go. Thanks very much for joining us, Alan. Thanks for joining me here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, CEO member. Thanks very much, Callan. Pleasure having Alan on. My thanks to Will, who joined us earlier on as well on the reaction. My thanks, of course, to Big Hightower, Alex, for the watch along that he done for the members earlier on this afternoon. Tremendous work for him, as always, on there. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Ash as well, who, our own Super Trooper, joined us for the build up and the halftime analysis and done an absolutely bang up job at that. Thanks to everybody who has joined us and been with us all afternoon. We appreciate the support, and we will see you very, very soon.